Knight f3, d3. Knight here. We'll go for e4. I'll go for c3, mainly because I'm kind of expecting this, and I think I'll play queen c2 to deal with it. This bishop looks like one that I think I'm just gonna take, secure the bishop pair for myself. Queen c2. He goes here. We can see the threat. We can play g3. We can play h3. Both look fine. I'm a little bit partial to the move g3 because he doesn't have a light square bishop, so g3 does look safe. But maybe h3 is the one. I'm not too sure. I'll go h3. It's a little bit more consistent with how we play this system in general. Oh, I can already see. Okay, so we go here. If he's good, I'm expecting this, and he's been playing pretty well. So I actually am expecting that. Okay, castles feels kind of nice for us. So I'm still expecting this. So actually, I'm going to play a4. I am expecting this bishop move. I think he's capable of it. a4 is a nice move. Interesting. Wow, rook h4. Ladies and gentlemen, what a move right there. In general, I would say developing your rooks like that is like, you know, on the more advanced side. I guess we go bishop here. Yeah, rook 8. I mean, I might be able to boot it out with some kind of g3, but it's definitely not obvious. Bishop g5, though, looks like a very good move. I believe that's what we are going to play. Should kick the rook backwards for the first time this game. Okay, I mean, 700. I'm surprised that we're even at the level where we can comprehend the idea of sacking a piece. So, color me impressed. Color me impressed. We could castle either direction. I think I'll go this way. You know, these rooks into the middle. Looks pretty good. And there will be some work to do converting this position. Down a pawn. That's a... Dang, that's a harsh way to evaluate this position. Okay. This one looks pretty reliable. We do have checkmate here, and so I think it will be taken. Queen c7 can be played, but yeah, really not bad, because if I take this, then you can imagine, okay, the endgame's a little bit tough to win after knight d5. Like, it's a super solid position, but we have queen d8 mate. I thought this guy was definitely anyone who can sack a piece. I'm not saying it was a good sacrifice, but anyone who can do it definitely is a more dangerous opponent. So no, this was not a good move. We got a winning position immediately from it, but I don't know, willingness to just sacrifice a piece like that, because it's definitely a very intentional thing. You know when you're going here, you're attacking. You know that this is defending, so you know you're giving it up. And he didn't have to. He could have just retreated. So, like, that's a very thoughtful player right there. All right, let's go for another one. We're going to start, as always, with knight f3. Oh, stop giving me that pawn. I'm not going to stop taking it. So you better stop giving it. Knight there. Doesn't look too bothersome. I mean, we're enjoying a pretty comfortable position here, I want to say. Whenever we see some pawn on b5, you know, pretty much always throw the a pawn up there. And once you have the rook open, always be on the lookout for these nice tactics. Bishop takes b5. Okay, we have a couple of options, a couple of pieces to take. I kind of like bishop back, actually. I mean, we can do that. I suppose this is probably the best move. If we're being honest, I think this is probably the best move. But I kind of like this. No castling for you. I am threatening this bishop, which is easy to forget. Yeah, let's keep this. I think that's very bothersome. He's gonna have to castle this way. It does not look good. Okay, we also have queen d5 here. I'm liking queen d5. We have the rook hanging now. This I also thought about for a second, but it's not going to be better than taking a free rook. And guess what? We still are stopping him from castling. So very, very annoying bishop. I'm sure a few times he's tried to play this move and it's just has not been working. Okay, let's go e5. We'll either get a nice trade here or he'll take this way and then we'll be able to take that pawn. So seems worth it to me. Let's take. This is a extremely likely move. Rook g8. I mean, the bishop is a long way away. You know, this is friendly. Get to take here and deliver a very satisfying checkmate, utilizing some pieces from very far away. GG. Stop doing it. Stop giving me the e-pawn. I'm gonna keep taking it. Like, it doesn't take a genius to play this move. So, PSA, keep taking that pawn until they stop blundering it. Okay. I think our highest rated opponent so far, e4, d6. Make sure to go with the knight next. Ay, 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 ay. It should not be this easy. Okay. Suspect he's gonna blunder the rook as well. I mean, this has not been my opponent's day. Oh, he's not even gonna take my knight. Oh no. I'd almost prefer him to take it. Help me develop. G3. Low key, this is like mildly annoying. It's so annoying. I'm gonna play here. Okay. Knight b6 looks like a move we want to play. Okay, he plays here. Immediately I'm looking down there, but also conscious that he may be plotting. Let's offer a trade. Okay, he does go here. I think mainly just because he can, but yeah, not particularly good. We still have our rook on h1. It's almost disguised as his piece, because like, why would my rook be there? Yeah, I'm not doing much here. I'm just kind of taking every single thing he's throwing at me, and he's throwing a lot at me. Okay, so there's an attack. We will need to move this rook. I think I'm actually gonna go here though. Oh, this would be my first blunder. Not that it really matters, but I can pick a safer move there. Yeah, because after bishop there, you know, we could play c6, which we would get this piece. We would basically have 3 pieces ahead, but still, gotta play the good moves. Don't blunder that. Oh, I don't know what that is. My rook is getting a workout here. Oh my god. How many pieces has this goddamn rook taken? Just feasting here. Put him out of his misery. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy for your sake, my friend, that the game ended there. That rook took basically every one of his pieces. But guys, you know how we start every game? People are blundering this way too often. Like, this opening that we're doing, it almost feels like a cheat code to just win the e-pawn. Okay, knight f3. Looks like we're both going to be 2 ships in the night here. He's got his setup, most likely. We're going for ours. They don't really intersect with one another. Yeah. Okay, c3. And now we're at that point where I usually go for a bit of an expansion on this side of the board. These pawn moves feel really nice to play next. Okay, a6. So yeah, we can't play that move just yet. Bring our rook, attack that bishop. Curious what he wants to do. Anytime someone fianchettos and then pins your knight, you always play h3 because they can no longer go back. So it's always a very good idea to just see what they're trying to do. d5, so I'm actually not going to take here. I'm probably just going to play queen c2, defend this. He pushes. Again, I don't think I'm going to take this. It takes a lot of practice and patience to play these positions, but yeah, I'm not going to take that one. I don't think I'm going to take this one anyway. I'm going to move my bishop so that if it gets taken, then we can bring the bishop back into the game to c3. Question is whether we want to take or move this way or this way. I'm going to go b2. Takes. We can take like that. Okay. We'll take here, and then take here. Not 100% sure what's happening. There's all sorts of moves he could do there. That might have been the worst one, unfortunately. Oh no, why is he thinking? He better be taking back. Yes. Knight takes e4, bishop takes there. He's all right. Queen b2. Yeah, actually, I think... yeah, okay. Let's go here. Queen d8, queen c3, knight e4 is a problem, so I think we need to go queen b2. That's a good move, though. Queen d8. This guy's... He's got some moves here. So e5 will probably end things. Even though he can play queen e6 and take here, I think he's going to be running into trouble. We're going to have rook a8 or just taking on g7. Yeah, so I knew that he was capable of finding a move like this, but after we take here, it's not going to be pretty for him. So we have an option. We can check and then go bishop c5. That looks very good. We can otherwise just take, but then maybe after rook there, we might have some hard work to checkmate. So I actually think that this might lead to the fastest win. So we're threatening mate. If here, we'll threaten mate again by covering that square. If here, we'll threaten mate again by covering that square. But luckily, he doesn't put up much of a fight, and bishop f8 will be checkmate. Okay, we're up against this fianchetto in this one. You're never going to have a problem setting up your first like whole bunch of moves. Pretty much once you see me in this position, I'm playing like rook there, queen there, but at that point it's time to push the pawns, gain a little bit of space. Anytime I see this, I'm pretty much asking the question immediately with the pawn. And then this is probably the moment where it's the most important to pay attention. Like, we don't really want to play these open positions where the bishop is getting dangerous. Like, I want to maintain a pawn on e4 for the most part in this system. And here, you know, if I push, I'm blundering that. Takes, who knows? So I think bishop b2 makes the most sense. So a couple areas of being a little patient there rather than just capturing. And once I move the bishop to b2 to d2, whatever, I'll all of a sudden be threatening b5, and then I feel like we can continue from there pretty naturally. Okay, d6. We're gonna take our tempo on the pawn. A lot of people do play e5. We'll just take and play knight d7. I think bishop takes. Maybe the bishop could go here. a4, I mean, dude, these guys, I'm telling you, they got some prophylaxis here. a4. Queen there, I mean, I guess I will defend that. Bishop b5, queen here. I'm gonna put some respect on his name and play a6. The a4 move is just too good. Tough to handle. Okay, I think it may be time for a little e4. I suspect he's going to play d3. He doesn't. Instead, he blunders a pawn. The other thought is swapping sides of the board here and going like that, but I don't think that's yet correct. Okay, we'll bring the bishop back. Goes here. Maybe not familiar with our en passant game. And now I think it is time to make some threats here because they're very tough to deal with. He goes here, but that's not actually it's not actually guarding the pawn. Like, I can still take it. Knight takes f2 looks like a big problem, and we're only 18 moves in the game, but he is going to resign there. GG to Bobby. Yeah, okay. e5 is not the worst. It's definitely not a good move, but I mean, it's hard to make an argument that white has a good position when black has two pieces developed. It doesn't really make sense. So, yeah. we play d6, we play knight there, and yes, a few people will play e5, and yeah, we're more than happy to play these positions. These are just not very good for white. Okay, knight f3, stopping e5, which means people usually have to work a little bit harder to get the pawn there. And for example, they could play it now, and they do. Will we go here? Looks fine to me. Very normal. Bishop to c5. Let's go here. Okay, stopping knight g5. I think I'm going to start with this. Try to get ahead of the bishop c5 move. He might play a5, which is more than okay. It would be a good move, actually. So, okay, well, first things first, I'm going to play it because I'm just curious how he's going to react. But b6 looks like a very risky move to do. So knight c4 it's going to be okay. Knight takes e5. I think that's the real dagger of a move here, because we're going to take on c6 and then take on a8, and that's a lot of material already. Plus, it just feels like he could easily blunder his queen in the middle, so I hope he doesn't do that one as well. It's a good move. It's a good move. Also bishop d6 happening, but I think we will bait that by going here because we're actually really interested in that. He plays a nice move with knight g4. I like that one. Queen takes e4, rook e1 is the end of the game. And if queen h5, which, oh no, well, that's no good. Knight f3 was multi-purpose. There we go. We take that. So I feel like a lot of people saw the concept for the speed run. Pawn here, you know, this setup, and probably thought, okay, like we're not really playing for anything too crazy. You're not going to be crushing people. It's not like the Stonewall. What's the average length of the games we've played so far? It feels like it's about 20 moves or less. Like, you get a lot of quick wins here as well. Not because the opening is particularly aggressive, but people are hanging things left and right. They're hanging their center pawn. They're forgetting about pieces. Maybe it's just the new and interesting arrangement of the pieces that I'm placing. People aren't used to it, and they're just like not expecting certain squares to be covered. I don't know. All right, let's try once again with the black pieces. d6, taking control of that. Now we want to make sure to attack that pawn, gain our tempo. Some people play e5. It's a terrible move. Knight c3 makes more sense, and now. Okay, good. I'm glad we got to see this f4 move. So let's see how he wants to play it. There's two things that I could do here. The first thing is I could allow the pawn to be taken and then wait to take it back. So I'll probably first try that for this game here. So I'll play c6, see how he wants to play. But I'm looking forward to seeing this opening more often. So we'll see how white handles knight g4. He goes here, which means I think it's probably time to take. We could take this way, or we could even play bishop c5, but I'm thinking that knight here makes the most sense. Okay, I think we will take, just because there's no need to have me capture if I don't need to. But we'll definitely check this one out afterwards. Knight e3. Bishop c5 makes a lot of sense. It will force the bishop back, but the question is, do I want to just get my hands on this bishop right away? Do we want to just take it? Because that's a very tempting offer. Knight on e5 is strong, but I don't know if it's strong enough to allow the bishop to stay on b3. I don't think it is. I've decided. It's a pretty strong piece. So we're just gonna keep it simple. We're gonna develop, we're gonna attack it at the same time. Maybe gonna long castle. This feels okay, well, this feels pretty easy. Just give a check, force the king to the corner, and then I think long castle. When the bishop goes here, I think we can just meet it with bishop d4. So just kind of waiting for him to develop there. He doesn't. He goes there instead. That's a tough move right there. A6 is bait of the year. Just had to give him a chance. I think he played bishop e5 too soon. He forgot about this blunder. He didn't realize he could blunder with rook f2, so I just needed to remind him he can blunder, and then he did. All right. We will definitely be seeing this. So definitely something to take a look at. I had to play one game with c6 just to discuss it. But in general, against this, I think as we move up the ranks, I will definitely be taking this, which is the move to play. C6. And so the reason that I like this is because really after knight g4, I think that white will go on to probably mess things up in the next couple of moves unless they play one move. And the one move, unfortunately, we're going to get to an elo probably soon where it's just going to be so destructive, which is e6. So this move is always killer. And it's definitely what white should play if you ever find yourself in this. I think, what does it take? Knight g5. You're hitting this, and you can't really play this without blundering some sort of knight e7. So maybe you could go here, like bishop f4. Already kind of troublesome. So it's playable, but it's just fishy. It's a little fishy. Even against a strong player, you can play that line. They have to know, I think, quite a bit before you're actually lost. So it's workable, but it's not, it takes some time. It's many moves down the line. And they have to play e6 at the start. So that's why I decided to play c6 there. But as I said, if I'm being realistic, pawn takes here is definitely a little bit more in the spirit. And so if I'm playing stronger players, that's probably what I'm going to do. But both are good options, or I should say both are options. Technically, I wouldn't say c6 is good, but it tends to work really well because a lot of people do not play e6. That's just the truth. And then you just take on e5, and man, it's such a nice position. Okay, let's play knight f3, and boom, give me that pawn. It's still working. 750 elo. They're still handing me that pawn on move 1. Obviously, I'm just going to be playing a different setup completely here because there's no need to play the setup that we're talking about. we're just winning. Knight there. I definitely don't believe in that, but we obviously want to let him take so that we can do that. But right now, if we do that, then he's going to have c6. We take the knight, and he's going to take that. So, realistically, if we just bring the knight back, we win a piece. Just had to reason that out. You really do hold all the cards when your opponent is sort of excited to play something and you know that the something they're excited to play is not good. It's a great feeling. Okay, I think we want to play d5. Open up this diagonal for some sort of check. This check looks very, very good. Honestly, I'm even looking at bishop to h3. Whoa, what's up with that? He's kind of in trouble here. I don't know what he's going to do next. Okay. We got bishop h3 still. And I'm most likely going to... Okay, so now we go here, and honestly, I'll be impressed if he survives here. So queen d7, king f6. Where's our mate? Definitely going to start with the check. I think we'll play rook here, not only to cut the king off, but maybe to threaten bishop g5. And yeah, after this, it's a greedy check. Should be able to get a checkmate here. We're kind of corralling the king, so instead of chasing it back this way and then chasing here and it comes back, we have two options. Number one, we could check here, check, and then sort of check and then checkmate. Or my preferred option is check. And then all we need to do is give this bishop g5 check. And whatever goes here, or if the king moves, queen d7 will be mate. Queen e6, yeah. GG. Yeah, no matter what he put there, the same move was going to happen. Nothing to say here, guys. Knight f3, e5. What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay. We got an 800 here. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Going for this, attacking. We're going to play e5. We got our setup here. Okay. And we do see d5. Interesting. All right. So we can continue with this sort of stuff. Play our c6 move. Always useful. Bishop there. Let's castle. And now we're getting into knight takes d5 territory. He needs to be a little concerned. We're not quite there yet, but it's close. It's close. Okay, takes. This is always a pleasant pawn structure to have. We're Eventually going to try to play for d5. It'll take some time to get there though. Okay, let's continue with our usual moves. This bishop is very likely going to retreat to b3. That pin looks annoying, so I'm gonna pin it. If the bishop comes back, then it leaves a pretty good post on c4. So I was assuming that, yeah, he wasn't really ever considering that. We'll just make the threat. Ooh, tough choice. If we take there and take there, there is bishop b3. So I will, you know, tend to agree with him and move my bishop back. Maybe we can't quite take there. That's okay. Okay, how do we want to continue? Rook b4 looks good. We've got the bishops, but we don't need to do anything crazy with them yet. Looking at queen here as an idea. Might even take with the pawn, honestly. Tough to say. Yeah, pretty tough to say. I would assume white can set up something like this. But we're building our position. G6, king G7. Okay. No, we're happy to take this square from the bishop, though. I think that's an important detail. If we go here, we have to deal with a4. I don't know that I like that. Let's just play this. Okay. I guess we'll go here though. That I can do. Knight to c5 looks good. Rook a8. That's why we played b4. So now that a pawn is kind of stuck there. And yeah, we can just double up here. Well, get familiar with en passant, my friend. That is a key move. Okay, we can take at this point. We have the two bishops and we have a pass pawn. That has to be worth something. c4, we just take it. Knight takes. I think he might not even see the bishop there. But if he does, then he's going to realize he's in trouble. Take that with check. We just won a knight and a rook. So we are mucho material to the good. Let's go here. And we just need to get one more piece involved in order to deliver a mate. This knight is also covering the square we want to check with. So I would say bishop g5 goes there. Yeah, it's definitely smart. I think rook h2 actually. Yeah, this is the way we activate that final piece. Yeah, check and satisfying checkmate with the bishop. Put him in a box, literally. All right, so I like to start with knight f3. Just to cover the e5 square. And then d5, we'll go d3. Knight d2. And finally, e4, yes. Okay, here we go. We basically got the exact thing once again. This will be a very common position, I feel like. Okay, knight e7. That's very intriguing. I'm gonna, as Yasser likes to say, I'll fall for it. Whoa! What a follow-up right there. h5. Okay, I'm in and out, you know? I'm a bandit. Knight takes e5, knight back to f3. No problem. Okay, let's continue with our setup here a little bit. Not to stray too far from the path. He takes, take back. Here, I think I will go queen c2, but we will be following up soon with the move h3. Thought about this for a sec, but don't think we're in a particular rush. Okay, bishop g5. He's unflinching here. Unflinching. Many tempting options here. I'm actually kind of interested in the long castle approach. Good move there. I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck the king, and he castles this way. You know, the one thing about these 700s is they are fearless. They really are. All right, I'll have to take here. I am nothing if not a guy who captures in that position. Okay, I'm gonna activate my bishop this way. It feels like a very good spot for that bishop to be. I do expect to see a move like knight e5, because if we don't, I might be unleashing the move e5 myself. Hopefully this leads to something. So he takes with the pawn. That's probably the most friendly of captures. Question is, do we play this, or in some world is it possible that knight g5 first is the way to go? Let's do things properly here. Let's check. Yeah, he gave this a couple goes. Bzz, 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 bzz. Didn't quite work. And then knight g5. Notice that this pawn is pinned as well, so there's no f6 to even defend laterally. So I think all the pieces should converge successfully for a nice little checkmate there. GG. And we got to see the opening in action, but again, our opponent's just hanging that e-pawn. It's amazing. It's probably happened 50% of our games. They just dropped the center pawn. All right. What do we do? How do we set this up? Probably with knight d7 first, although it's not obvious. There we go. And we've pretty much got the setup here. This is all we're after. Okay, I think I'll just toss the A pawn up the board. And wow, okay, so he goes immediately with f4. First thing I'm looking at is knight g4, although being honest with you, I think he might be able to cover things with rook f3. But knight g4 certainly has to be tried. But rook f3 is a move that even my opponent here, I think, is going to find, and he does, because it's almost born out of necessity. Like, you have to find it. It's any other move is sort of not acceptable. All right, takes, bishop f6. Could be something there. I'm not exactly sure what happens after that, but let's give it a go. It does unleash the rook on the e3 pawn, but I wouldn't say that this is just winning or anything like that. Let's go ahead and take, question mark? Wow, takes queen e2. Who would have thought? That's kind of funny. I guess we have to take with the rook. Not a big letdown, but it feels like knight takes should be the move. Nice to know that we're not getting mated here because we have knight f8. So doing it this way is a little bit safer. I think this is a knight takes g2 moment. Our knight there was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Now maybe we can move this so that we can move our bishop, so that we can bring the rook over. That feels like the way to do things, especially he's got knight here coming, so trying to get ready for that move. Let's go g6. Maybe drop that bishop back. Could put the knight here, especially a move like this would be, oh, did not expect that. I see the vision, you know, he's hopeful. Gotta respect it. Okay, queen e8. It's there. It's there. I think this is a moment to retreat some things. Let's bring the bishop back. Probably knight f8, especially if check. Here there is d5, so I think I'll probably still do this. f5, maybe if knight e4 or queen e7. Still, move that makes a lot of sense. Has to be said. Maybe we can go here. Something about this move feels correct with f5 or bishop f5 next, and most notably knight f6 is not really an option. Let's go here. Now the rook can finally join the game. It's actually a little bit tricky. I think I'm just gonna take it. Like, you know, maybe there's knight f6 there, to be honest with you. Kind of looked like it was. So I think we'll play rook e8. Also d5 looks like a good move, but I'm never really gonna shy away from just trades. I feel like that's always the answer. And I do like d5 quite a bit because I think we're going to be able to play queen e4. I think this is the way to do it. Yeah, there is a knight takes c5 that I suppose should be played. And there should be enough time for us here. Okay. Maybe pre-move that. At this point, even a6 is okay to allow. King h5 will be particularly nice. I think we can take that. Just get the bishop out of the way. And oh, good fight, a good fight, a good fight. DK. Not bad at all, my friend. You know, well, I suppose that's probably not that fair to say. Everyone has their skills and they have their weaknesses. He definitely played a decent average level move and understood sort of like putting some pressure on the clock. But, you know, knight takes g6 is just pure insanity. So, like I said, it's like, it was a very good game. I think the overall level of the game was very high, and I award him a lot of credit. But then there's moves like knight g6. It's just inexplicable. Move the queen back. I wonder what he was thinking here, because clearly I'm just going to take it back. So it feels like a one blemish on an otherwise good level shown the entire game. Let's go knight f3. You know we're coming with knight d2. You know we're playing e4. You should be used to the setup by now. Guys, how many times? It's just bonkers. How many times people actually take the pawn in the center when the knight's just sitting there protecting it? I can't like stress enough. I've won so many games from just sitting here. I'm doing nothing. I'm just putting the damn position on the board. I'm trying to teach you how to play the setup. And these guys are just inting their knights on e4. It's wild to me. Like, I don't get it. How is it possible? Ay, ay, ay. I mean, this is rough. Let's simplify here. Bishop d4 will simplify even more, so happy with that. Bishop e2. Yeah, we got 2 extra pieces here, and it's a bishop pair. And the only thing he's got to show for it is a single pawn. More trades. Good habits. More trades. Yes. More trades. Rook back to d1. Here we go. That's what I like to see. Yes. Even more. I'm just trying to keep it real simple. All right, this is going to be a shocker to you, but this forces a win. Okay, well, I didn't expect it to be this good. I was going to say king d7 takes and knight d4, but he decided to hand it over anyway. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be the trickiest. Let's go b5. He's still playing. He's still fighting the good fight here. Feels like, you know, there are just endless things that can happen. Endless possibilities. Let's go this one. All these pawn moves just don't really cut it. Probably knight back to e4 here. Yeah, he's taking quite a lot of time each move, so he doesn't seem like a speedster. He is playing on, but doesn't seem like a speedy guy. Taking that pawn, taking everything you got, pal. All right, he's only got 2 squares here. I wonder if he's gonna pick up the pace. He's really not too speedy. Oh, here we go. The pre-move started. They started coming as soon as he saw the knights on the board. He said, "Oh no, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I've seen this movie before." Yeah, that's fair. As soon as you see the knight on the board, you say, "Okay, no, I get it. I see what's happening here, and I'm not gonna be a part of this clown show." There we go. Up to 800 on the dot as well. What a beautiful rating. GG to TD View. Thank you for making it to the end of this episode of the Philidor Speedrun. This opening has been super successful for me, and I hope you guys are experiencing the same elo boost. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss our next upload. I'll see you guys in the next one.